We want to look at a new subject, which is dimensioning, adding dimensions to a drawing. So dimensioning, pardon me, is a major topic and it's so extensive and it's so needful, because for whatever design that you do, there has to be dimensions in order for the design to be able to communicate successfully or communicate correctly to whoever is interpreting the design work. So AutoCAD has quite a number of dimension styles, and in fact there are a lot, but we are just going to look at a couple of them and build up from that. So what are dimensions? They are simply the visible measurement for purposes of conveying information to the audience that will be looking at your design. It is how you describe the size of a design and where it is in relation to everything else. So that's it for the dimension. So when you come to the ribbon, the home ribbon, over here you can see dimension over here, dimension over here. So that is where, or you can click on that to start dimensioning your work. But before then, let's make sure that the dimension styles and parameters are okay before we come right there. So to set up the dimension style, you just enter dim style, and that is the command. So when you click it, it opens up the dimension style manager for you. So we can create a new dimension style for ourselves. So let's call that my dimension. Then click continue. So it gives you the opportunity to edit a couple of stuff in there. So the color of the dimension, you can choose any color. So let's take this color. The line type, let's just stick with this one, and the baseline spacing. If you want to suppress the dimension lines, you can do that, but we wouldn't want to do that. And the extension lines, which will lead to the main dimension lines, that one too, we can assign a different color to it over here. And since we don't want to suppress them, we are going to leave all these as they are. And the extension of the extension lines beyond the dimension lines, that's over here. So 1.25, you can increase it to increase the extension beyond the dimension lines and the offset from the origin as well over here. So when it comes to the symbols and arrow panel, so the arrowheads, what type of arrowheads will you want to use? We have a couple of them over here. So we have the close fill, the close, the dots, architectural tick, and a whole lot of that. So let's just pick one out of it. I'm picking architectural tick. You can pick any other that you want as well. And the leaders, a leader, if you want to label maybe something in the drawing, you want to label it with the leader, that one too. We have a couple of items over there. So let me just pick the dots. Then the arrow size too, or the tick size, can be increased as well. So you see, when I make it 10, it's really huge. So let's bring it back to 2, something like 2. That should be okay. Then the jog height factor. In case there's a jog in the dimensioning, what height factor should be applied to it? Let's set it to 2 for now. And the jog angle too. The jog is more like a break. When we get to the dimension, we try out that type of dimensioning so we can have a look at it. And the text, so the text height as well. The text height, let's just make it, I think 250 millimeters will be fine. So text height, the text style, you can choose my text, the one that we've already created, or use the standard. So let's just go with the my text for now. Then the text color, fill color, and yeah. So yeah, you can align it with the dimensions, or you can choose to make it horizontal regardless of where the dimension is, or you can select it according to the ISO standard. So now let's just stay with the international standards. So a couple of options over here too as well, and the units. So the decimal separator, let's select a period, change it to period instead of a comma. And the precision, let's round it up to just 0, taking away the decimal points from it. Or you can make it even engineering, and that should do it. Okay, it makes it sends it to feet and inches. So let's just make a decimal for now. Then we have other options which you can play along with. So when that is done, you can just click OK. Then after clicking OK, you select that and you set it as current. And you can close it now. So now from there, you can come to the dimension side on the ribbon, on the home ribbon, and we have a couple of dimension styles over here, and they work for specific types of works or objects, pardon me. So now let's come back to the dimension side in the home menu. Let's start with the linear dimension. So linear dimension, AutoCAD says specify first extension line origin. So here, that's the first point, then we specify the second point, and you either move up or down. So let's just take it up, and there we have our dimension. Okay, so that is it for the linear, quite really simple. For the aligned, if I have, let's say, a line like this, a slanted line, and I use the linear, it's not going to give me the opportunity. It only takes vertical and horizontal dimensions. I hope you are seeing that. So for slanted lines, we use the aligned to cater for those situations. So see, with aligned, I can now dimension my slanted line, and that's it. So let's take the angular alignment. So if, let's say, I want to measure the angle between these two lines, AutoCAD says I should specify the line. So I can specify my first line, specify my second line, and there I have my angle specified nicely inside there. Drawing. And if you want to add arc length too as well, you can just select the arc length and you dimension it as shown over here. Alright, sure. So you can also set a radius for circular object, and that should be it. So it has labeled the radius over here. The text height is quite hilarious, but never mind, we will change it after. You can also change it in the drawing. So you can also label diameters as well, and there you go. So that's for the diameter. You can also use the diameter option or the radius option for the radius of the circle, for instance. Yeah, you can take it outside or bring it inside. So now let's try the jogged. So you select a circle, then select the center. And alright, sure. So with the jogged dimension, or click on the jogged, select. It's mostly for circles and arcs and circles alone, and they are useful when the radius or diameter of dimensions center is off the sheet of paper. So if you have, let's say, an arc, let me just quickly draw a very large arc somewhere here, a bigger arc somewhere here, like this. Alright, sure. So now, in case where I'm plotting my work, my center, the center of the circle isn't part of the sheet. Let me just say, assuming this is my sheet, right? The center of my circle, or in this case, it still lies inside. So, but let me just move this somewhere closer. So if I have a sheet as this, probably something like this, yeah. Now the center of our arc is beyond the sheet, and we still want to dimension. We use the jogged, so we select it and select where you want to override it, and there we have the jogged dimension. So how far you want it to go, specify it. That's it for the jogged dimension. You see, because I'm using the text, it's taken, but if I were using the arrows, it would have been the arrows. So basically, I think that should be it for the dimension. Alright, sure.